What's up, everybody? It's your boy Angel Casey. You're now tuned into the Middle Initial Podcast. Today, September 25th, 2025. I'm here with nobody. I'm here by myself. I got a lot to say. I know you guys have a lot of questions. And the first question probably everyone has to ask is, where have you been? Where have you been all my life? I'm not gonna say. Sorry, I'll spare you guys the singing. Where have we been? We've been around, man. We've been here. JJ's here. What's going on, JJ? We've been here. Shout out. Doing a lot of nothing and some of everything. But I couldn't take being away from you guys longer than this. It's been a while since I've come and graced the stage. No more excuses. I know things have changed, but let's start with the major thing that changed. StreamYard. StreamYard, you sons of bitches. The first thing that's changed is the pricing. StreamYard, you have priced out most of your core users by raising the prices to a ridiculously ungodly amount of $431 yearly and about 30 some dollars a month, almost 40. Now, I'll say this for StreamYard, they have added so much, they've upgraded so much to their platform, but the price point, the price increase is unbelievable. So, with that being said, if you're here right now, hit the like, hit the share. As you can see, join the Patreon, donate to the podcast via Venmo, MIPod69, because I have a plan. If we can get enough money via Patreon, via donations every month, I will then pay the ridiculous amount of money that they are asking for so you can have a fully produced show. Intro videos, clips, and everything. Right now I'm limited. That's where you can see this whole StreamYard logo in the corner. I don't do StreamYard logos. I don't do StreamYard logos. We're our own show. We're our own entity. We're our own brand. Middle School Podcast does not advertise for the big brands. We advertise for ourselves. And I can't put in banners or anything like that. So that's a part of why we're here right now, limited. Kev's not here. I'm going to spare him today, but I will be having him on so we can have a deeper conversation. But I said I owe you guys not only an explanation, but a show. I owe you guys a show. Essential Podcast Network, Middle School Podcast, I owe you guys a show. Shout out to people in the Discord who rock with us. 50th anniversary tailgate. I will show you pictures, but StreamYard, I can't show pictures, StreamYard. I can't show pictures because you guys have priced us out to the point where I got to pick between a sandwich or streaming for you guys. I picked the sandwich. I picked the sandwich. I chose the sandwich. I chose correctly, but your guys' support, getting people to sign up to the Patreon for as little as $1.99 a month. The more people that sign up, the more exclusives, the more we can drop for you, the more we can do for you. So where we've been grinding, man. Kev is, out here trying his best. I'm out here trying my best. We're still on TikTok. Make sure you follow us on TikTok. We drop little nuggets there. The more videos we do like this, the more nuggets we can drop, the more things we can do for you guys, and the more exclusives we can drop for you guys. So please bear with us. Keep that in mind. We are only human. We are trying. So where do we start? We guys love to start. Where do we begin? We begin with the New York Mets. Let's start with the Mets. Because I know you guys want to talk about the Jets, but I'm a Mets fan. Shout out to the 47 Pod. Shout out to 47 Pod, who holds down the baseball fort. Mets, Yankees. Make sure you subscribe to the 47 Pod. They're part of the Ascension Podcast Network. Make sure you like and subscribe to their network, their channel on the YouTube, 47 Pod, with Chris Hecker and Jerry Durney. They're doing a great job. Make sure you tap into 47 Pod. But I am also a Mets fan myself. I'm also the president. I am the candidate and client of sadness. The Mets have been playing with my emotions this season. At one point in time, I thought we was going to run away with the division. We've been under 500, I believe, since June 1st. We're barely hanging on to a one-game lead in the third place spot for the wild card position. Third place spot. And it's a bit frustrating, man. We're very top-heavy with Lindor and Soto and Pete and Nimmo pretty much carrying the offense. They are the offense. I think out of all the home runs combined, I think Soto just hit his 43rd. I think Pete has 37. Lindor has 29, and I believe Nimmo has like 24, 25. So and that's the lion's share of the home runs for the team. The lion's share of the RBIs. Pitching has been atrocious. Last night when the young kids pitched, Jonah Tong pitched last night. It wasn't a great outing. His ERA is up to 7.34. He has a lot more growing to do. Good things to come for the future for the Mets, but as it currently stands, we're struggling. Even if we do make the playoffs, I don't know what a playoff run looks like with that pitching. And offensively, it ebbs and flows. If the top of the lineup isn't hitting at all, there's not much support from the bottom. Alvey did have a big home run in yesterday's win. Not yesterday, the day before win over the Cubs. We lost last night. I believe it was 10-3 or something like that, 11-3 in that fashion. Things are far and few between. The good news is, however, at least in my perspective for the Mets, is that this is about 2026. I don't think they put all. I mean, you get Soto, and I think a lot of people thought that we could duplicate the run that we had the year before, but a lot of pitching went out. We brought some pitching in. Yes, we turned Clay Holmes to a starter, but it's Manai is not who he was. Senga is not even on the roster right now. He's down in the minors, and he had a bullpen session yesterday, which was terrible. By the way, his velocity down to 93. I don't know if he's hurt, he's fatigued, or is mental, but Senga's not playing right now. It's just a lot going on, and the Mets are. It's possible. We have 4 games left. We're barely holding on to this 1-game lead. But shout out to the teams that did what they had to do. The Dodgers for beating the Diamondbacks in extras. The Pirates for beating the Reds in extras. Both dramatic endings for games that could have possibly finished us. But they did do what they had to do. If we had taken care of business, we would have a 2-game lead and more of a command. We pretty much have to win 2 out of the next 4. We have to win 2 out of the next 4 for us to clinch his 3rd wild card. I don't think it's impossible. I just think that for the Mets who play against the Marlins terribly, the Marlins are definitely trying to play spoiler. And the Cubs I think the Cubs just clinched last night their position. The Mets are just in this poor position right now where even if we do win, I don't know how that wild card looks. Do you start McLean? Do you start Holmes? Is it a bullpen game? I don't know what the wild card is this year, if it's a best of 3 or whatever the case may be. But it doesn't look good right now for the Mets. On the flip side of it, the Yankees just clinched their playoff position, I think, 2 days ago. The division is still there because the Blue Jays are also collapsing. Every team in the American League has collapsed. Every team in the American League that was in first place has collapsed. I think every division is up for grabs right now. I know I think it's the Tigers has the most epic collapse right now. Cleveland, the Guardians are in first. I know the Yankees just tied the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays just gave like a 5.5 game lead. I believe the highest lead they have was like 6-7 games. They lost their shit. And I believe in the AL, what's that, the West. I think that's also a close race too. Everything has pretty much been wrapped up in the National League except for the NL West, but it's about to be. The Dodgers are about to just pretty much clinch their division, but the American League races are very tight. And the Yankees still have a chance after all they've been through to win the division. After all that they've been through this season to win the division. But for me as a Mets fan, witnessing what I'm witnessing with this roster, I'll say this much: you got to bring Pete back. You have to bring Pete back. You can't play with this Pete Alonso thing any longer. You have to bring him back. And if you're not going to bring him back, you're gonna lose a lot. And when I say a lot, I'm talking about offensive production. This has been one of his better years. I think he's averaged at around 270. He leads the team in RBIs. He's second in home runs. He's been more patient at the plate, going opposite way. People talk about his defense at first base. It leaves something to be desired, but he has played a better first base. And first base, to me, isn't essentially a defensive position that you have to really worry about. If you can scoop the ball out, dig the ball out, which Pete can do well, you know what I mean? It doesn't really count for much, so to speak. Kevin says Peter's worth more to the Mets than anyone else. I mean, hey, that's true. To anyone else, I don't think any other team. I think they're talking about Pete can stay in New York and go play for the Yankees, but the Yankees have Ben Rice. Then Pete could go to Chicago. I think Pete could go anywhere to be honest with you. But I think in this scenario, I agree with Kev. He's worth to the Mets. He's worth more to the Mets than anyone else. There's no other team that he can go to that makes sense to me. And I think for what they have, if you gave Pete 3 years, 4 years, or something like that, that's fair. Of course, with baseball arbitration and money and stuff like that, I mean, Pete is probably owed a lot for what he's done in his tenure with the Mets. Like, he's owed a lot, like having the rookie record, surpassing Darryl Strawberry for all-time home run lead. You know what I mean? He's done a lot for the to be the, I guess you want to say, the face, right? Like Lindor is the captain, he's the heart and soul, but Pete is the face, so to speak. He does the whole, I do the All-Star game, home run derby, Captain America, mic me up. I speak Spanish. He does all the stuff that you like, right? Lindor does the stuff that you love, right? He's, he should be a 30-30 guy this year. He needs one more home run, he'd be a 30-30 guy. I think if that happens, I think for the first time in maybe Mets history, they'll have two 30-30 guys on the same team. It'll be Soto and Lindor, 30-30 guys. And in my history, I believe this will be the first time they'll have three guys on the roster with 30 or more home runs, and four guys on the roster with at least 20 plus home runs at the same time. I believe. Don't quote me on that. Don't at me, fam. I could be wrong. But offensively, that core four looks good. What do you do with everybody else? With Beatty, who's shown some flashes, with Alvarez, who, he's shown some flashes. Ronnie Mauricio may need some more time in the minors. It's really about pitching. It's really about bullpen. I think the Mets will be a great team in 2026, which is why I'm not too upset if they miss the playoffs. And I don't consider this a collapse like 08 and stuff like that. But I do look at this team as it currently stands as why they couldn't be better, but also see exactly why they aren't better than what they are. So I'll be fine with it. But yes, the Mets have been playing with my emotions this season. They continue to play with my emotions, and I'll be tapped in. I will be tapped in for the final four games. I'll be watching to see if they're going to continue to play in my face or if they win tonight. I don't know who's on the mound. I can definitely check that out. See who's on the mound tonight. I think it may be McLean and maybe Sproat. But we need a win. The Mets need a win tonight, and yeah, that's what's been going on the baseball front. Let's see who pitches tonight. It's going to be McLean, who's 4-1. He's been a bright spot. He's been our stopper. He's been a guy who's made things make sense versus Amanaga, Amangia. I don't know. Amanaga. I don't know for the Cubs. 97, 3.3, 7 ERA, whip under 139 innings pitched. No matchups and nothing like that I can see, no preview worthwhile. But the Mets need to win this, man. It's a rubber match. We win this, and then go to the final three. But yeah, the Mets have been playing with my emotions, and hopefully that changes. Yes, McLean is definitely throwing tonight. Listen, that's what the Mets have needed. And the thing about McLean doing what he's doing his best DeGrom impressions. Bro, I don't know. I'm like, is it a manga? Is it a manja? I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. I don't know. Whatever his name is. He's somebody. He's somebody for the Cubs. The thing about McLean that I like about McLean, he's doing his best DeGrom impression. I'm not talking about skill level. I'm talking about being that stopper, being that person that you can rely on to keep the game close, keep the game manageable. And that's a lot to ask for a rookie to do. But it's also baseball, right? It's also baseball. Like, baseball is this weird sport where a kid can come up and just master everything in that time frame, and you need him to be good for that time frame, right? We've seen it with I think his name is his name from the Marlins when they beat the Yankees in the World Series. You see it with a guy like Lincecum. We've seen it with DeGrom, and we've seen it with Matt Harvey. We've seen young guys just be called up, guys he knew had potential, and just be that guy in the rotation. And a lot of times, I would say 9 out of 10, those guys have a couple of 2 or 3 good seasons, and sometimes they disappear. Like, if you look at Lincecum's career, as truncated as it was, he did a lot of damage, like, really early, and then everything with the injuries and stuff like that. Like, that third World Series ring, he had nothing to do with that third World Series that he won, outside of the other two. But with Tim Lincecum, it's like he was that guy. He was that alien type of guy that was a part of that San Francisco rotation that they needed, right? Just like when Jeter came up in '95, which a lot of people don't realize. He came up late in '95. He was helping the Yankees, and he played a little bit. But then what happens the next year, right? When Manley retires, and boom, Jeter's that guy. He takes the team to a franchise run, four rings in 6 seasons. Like, you need these type of guys to have these moments. So I'm looking forward to McLean having a good night tonight. He may be your wild card starter. Like, be prepared for that. It could be a bullpen guy. I don't know. I know for sure one thing: Senga is not making this roster. I know that for sure. Senga is not making this roster, especially after that bullpen session. Because right now, minor leagues are done, so there's nothing that he can do. Right? There's no more minor league stuff he can do. It's only just simulated sessions. And from what I've heard and what I've seen, shout out to Jerry for dropping that nugget in the Discord. There's nothing. He has nothing right now. He might not even be worthy to come and pitch out of the pen. He has absolutely nothing right now. Nothing on it, baby. Like, it's just terrible. So I don't know how that's going to shape out. That's what I'm saying. For me, I'm fine with the Mets not making the playoffs, and I'm also fine if they do make it. But I don't see a run. I'll say that I don't see how a run makes sense, because unless they just go batshit like they did when Daniel Murphy had like 7 home runs, he homered 6 straight games, like, and just offensively dominate. Like, after they beat the Dodgers, they swept the Cubs. Like, if they just dominate offensively, like Soto, Pete, Lindor, Nimmo, they just dominate offensively and they get 5 innings, because that's what they were pretty much doing at the beginning of the season. They were getting 5 innings, maybe 6, maybe 5 in the third. Offense was just doing great and just peeling off a lot of offense, and they were winning games, right? And then when it was like, okay, we need pitchers to go 6, 7, they weren't getting guys to go 6, 7 innings at all. Like, guys just could not make it past the 4th or the 5th inning. And then you're depleting your bullpen because you got to keep going to your bullpen. And the bullpen's ain't that great. And then you make the trades that you think going to help the bullpen, and Helsley's been trash. He's been hot and garbage. This man is throwing 100 mile. I don't know how do you throw 100-mile-per-hour garbage, but he has managed to be White Benitez. He's just throwing it down the middle, no placement, no movement, just 100 miles per hour of garbage, and he's just cracking his ass. You know what I mean? So there's a lot left to be desired for the New York Mets, and I don't think it's a bad thing. It's a transition. Now, people want the hitting coach gone. They talk about Mendoza be here and coaching decisions, blah, blah, blah. And Kev will tell you, managers don't really do much for baseball. You could look glaringly bad because of your decision making, but they don't really do much. Like, you can't make a guy hit or make a guy pitch better, right? There's no coaching. So either you have it that night or you don't, or you have for that stretch or you don't, right? And you get this feeling like where Soto started and where he's at now, he has it. But the problem with Soto is no one's getting on base for him, right? He has 40-something home runs, but only like 105, 104 RBIs because no one gets on base. And I think the other day they were saying that he had hit a home run with a runner on for the first time in like how many games? Like, he's doing a lot of stuff solo, right? A lot of stuff he's doing solo, which is crazy considering who's in front of him. But you kind of get the feeling like Soto needs to be third in the lineup instead of second, but it's like he's just perfect in a number 2 hole, right? But he needs to hit with runners on. I think, to me, it's my opinion, I think Soto's more dangerous with runners on. I think you need to put him in a position to be at bat with runners on. That's just me. And I think if Nimmo was a better leadoff hitter, right, because he's not a leadoff anymore as Lindor is, I think if Nimmo was a better leadoff hitter, you could do Nimmo 1, Lindor 2, Soto 3, Pete 4. I think that works much better because you have guys that you have to pitch to. Like, all right, you don't want to pitch to Nimmo, then you have to pitch to Lindor. You don't want to pitch to Lindor, then you have to pitch to Soto. You don't want to pitch to Soto, you have to pitch to Pete. You know what I mean? And I think Soto being the most dangerous one because he walks and everything. He gets on base, doesn't strike out that much. He hits for power. He can steal bases. He's perfect for number 2. But I would love to see him more with opportunities to hit. And when the bottom of the lineup is not getting on base and forcing, these teams the opposition to make these decisions, like, hey, we can't bullshit. We got to get 7, 8, and 9 out, or 8 and 9 out, whatever combination. Like, if 8, 9, and 1 is coming up, we got to get 8 and 9 out because if one comes up, he could bust the game open, a home run, a double, single, whatever, triple. But then the guys batting behind him and Soto, oh my God, he could tear the game open too. The Mets have not put a lot of pressure on the opposition because the bottom of the order has not been great, and it's hard to do things. Kevin says clearly Carlos Mendoza's fault. The bullpen has given up more than an adult film. Yo, the bullpen has been terrible, man. Like Brazo Bond and those guys, outside of Diaz, a few bright spots, and the other Soto. I don't know why he still pitches. Buto and all the Mets bullpen has been god awful, god awful, and we're talking about a team that put together a rotation last year that we'd have faith in, and they made it to the NLCS. Like they put together a rotation that no one had faith in, and they somehow made it. And I think they tried to this thing. I think they tried to strike lightning twice, and it's hard to do that. Like when no one is say, "Hey, we have this guy who's about to pitch. He's going to stop everything." Like when the Grom was healthy and pitching, we knew he was stopping everything. Like whatever you think is going to happen, this streak is going to stop right now. He's stopping everything at this moment from this point on, right? That's just what it felt like every time he was about to pitch. So that's how it feels for the Mets right now. It's like it's hopelessness. Kev says the number 3 hitter comes up with nobody on base, and on average more than anybody in the top half of the lineup. Yeah, and it's crazy, right? With like it's crazy. Like I think about baseball, right? Kev thinks Soto too allows works best in his opinion, and I don't disagree. Soto is quintessentially the perfect number 2 because unlike your leadoff, like traditionally your leadoff just is the guy who gets on base, and I mean Soto could be a leadoff too if you really think about it. Guy who gets on base, doesn't strike out. I mean, back in the day, I guess he would have hit for average, so they like hit for 300, get on base at least at a 38% clip. Like that's and steal 20 to 30 bases, right? That's quintessentially the what you would want from a leadoff. But leadoffs have evolved. Billy Hamilton's not walking through that door, right? Ricky Henderson's not walking through that door. Cedeno's not walking through that door. It's hard for you to get guys who can just do everything you want them to do. Hold on, my battery may be dying. I hope not. This will be charging right now. It says plugged in. 5% available. All right, we're gonna rock real quick, and I'm about to switch over. So it just feels like for me with the Mets and what they're trying to do, offensively, it's fine when everything is working. It's just not working all the time. And when it's not working all the time, a guy like Vientos, his slump is glaringly bad. Like it just looks bad for Vientos, who had a great season last season, and it looks bad, right? It looks bad, with McNeil, looks bad for Alvarez, looks bad for everybody else. Like, hey guys, we're carrying this offense. You guys are doing absolutely nothing or not enough. We need somebody to be the spark, the fifth or the like. Marte is like, all right, perfect example. Starting Marte has just been solid as DH, but he's not doing nothing spectacular, right? And Marte has been kind of past the value of his contract for the past 2 seasons, right? I think the Mets paid him like 4 or 5 years. He's been past the value of his contract. He's been decent. He doesn't produce, right? He's like 7 home runs. He's batting like 270 something. He doesn't produce though. He doesn't produce. He can't play defense because you're DH and you're older. You're not as fast as you used to be, and your bat doesn't have a lot of pop. So he's not good for the 5 hole. But who else are you going to put there? McNeil could be in the 5 hole, but McNeil's streaky. He's up and down. He hasn't been the same though in a long time. I've been saying this about McNeil hasn't been the same for a long time. Not since the flying squirrel days when it felt like he was more happy to play baseball. It didn't feel like for a long time he was happy to play baseball at all, right? But he hasn't been that good in a while, right? Again, I said Alvarez already. He's just up and down. He went down, came back up, and it seemed like he's been better for it. But there's a lot going wrong with the Mets. 1 second. My mic is unplugged because my laptop needs to charge. So now I think I'm just going off the mic on the camera, which is fine. We'll rock this way. This is why I'm rusty. Should have charged my laptop first. But yeah, everything going wrong with the Mets is going wrong, particularly at the same time. Hopefully, we get something tonight. Moving forward, what you guys really want me to talk about is New York Jets. What you really want me to say is things about the New York Jets. And let me start by saying this. I've been a Jets fan for a long time, right? And I think the worst thing that happened to me is being a Jets fan on social media. Not because I go on social media to talk about the Jets, because I don't. I literally, you go on my timeline right now. You have to search for me to talk about the Jets, like a Jets tweet. My tweets have been about politics and shit like that, government and everything like that. But you really have to be hard pressed for me to find me tweeting. I'm not Jude. I'm not getting up at 4:00 in the morning to tell you how much I felt about some game that happened, the night before, or 24 hours, 26 hours before. Like, I'm not getting up 12 hours later and be like, oh, I didn't even brush my teeth. Let's talk about the Jets. I'm not doing that. No. I won't miss brushing my teeth to talk about how bullshit this government is. But I will not miss brushing my teeth to talk about the damn Jets. But I'll say this much. The worst thing about being a Jets fan is being a Jets fan on social media, because by far the most miserable, nonsensical, unreliable, whatever you want to call them, or us, fan base on social media is New York Jets fan base. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Problem number one, I don't think us as fans, and I don't want to exclude myself because I'm a fan, but the type of fan that I am, I want to exclude myself from the rest. And some of you guys who are in here are going to exclude yourselves from that group as well. But you guys come on social media every offseason and you're making these predictions, whether you're serious or not, 8 wins, 9 wins, whatever the case may be, or you hate the coach is a bad idea, or you hate the quarterback's a bad idea, you're arguing, infighting amongst each other, boom, boom, boom. And then the season doesn't start the way you want it to start. Can't say this isn't what you want, Kev, but I gotta give the other people what they want. You start the season just upset at everything, right? Or overly optimistic at everything. And you look at that roster and you somehow will yourself to believe the Jets could be a playoff team if things go their way. Roll the dice, flip it a coin, whatever, right? And it's pretty much every football season is a coin flip, right? This is apropos. Flip the coin. Heads or tails. Heads, the Jets are good. Tails are miserable, right? Doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. That's the thing about it. It doesn't matter. Because the Jets haven't put together a decent roster since 2015. When I say decent, I'm talking about, wow, talent at multiple positions since 2015. Minus quarterback. Minus quarterback. I'm saying roster, complete roster. I'm not talking about anything else. It's offense and defense. They just haven't put a complete roster together in over 10 years. Now, we can say on paper, they look good. I guess optimistically looking, say, hey, we got this person, that person, this could be good. But we're talking about actual net results. The Jets haven't put together a complete roster since 2015, right? Just for net results. It's basic results-based conversation. The Jets hired Aaron Glenn after keeping Saleh and Douglas for about 4 or 5 seasons. Saleh got fired midway during the season. Aaron Rodgers, remember Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, all that stuff. We were hot, us to be healthy, just to be a playoff team last year. They weren't a playoff team. I don't know why I don't know what people thought would be different this year. But, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. The Jake Asmans of the world, the Cretans of the Jets Lounge, the worst possible people to pay attention to. And I'm not saying that I'm the best person to pay attention to, or Middle Initial Podcast is the best place to hear about the Jets. But I will say this. I would rather go to the Bronx Zoo dig my hands into the penguin exhibit and rub feces on my beard than hear these guys talk anything Jets. One, most of it is tied into this. It's just be real. It's mostly bullshit. Like I don't want to say it's racial or race based. It's bullshit. We'll get to the dog whistles later, but it's mostly bullshit, right? It's this idea that we would be far better off with a 41-year-old quarterback who's about to retire in Pittsburgh, right? It's thinking that Vrabel is the answer at head coach, right? And he's about to do great things, even though in New England right now he's struggling around. I think they're 1-2, and they still have the same problems like they've had from seasons before, right? Because the roster is pretty much the same. It's this woe is me. I'm going to pick at everything. I'm going to be mad at everything and all that. We've seen, what do the Jets want to be as an archetype going forward? And a lot of people said the Lions, right? The Lions or the Bengals, whoever. But for those teams, it's just saying you need a quarterback. They just don't have a quarterback. We just lost a quarterback, if you want to call it a loss, and we didn't gain a quarterback back. So we didn't trade Aaron Rodgers and get another veteran. We didn't trade Aaron Rodgers for Kirk Cousins. Let's say, this argument's sake, we didn't trade Aaron Rodgers for Kirk Cousins, and we didn't trade Aaron Rodgers for Russell Wilson, nothing like that. We didn't get a veteran for a veteran swap like the Lions did, right? We didn't do that. We didn't hire Dan Campbell. We didn't hire someone who's going to talk about biting kneecaps and we're not going to give up type, whatever. We did get a coach, Eric Glenn, who did say we're not going to give up. We're going to play hard, and he's no nonsense character building type of person. And he came from Detroit, and the GM, our new GM, came from Detroit, and our offense coordinator came from Detroit. So we know that we're following this Detroit blueprint. And the Lions started their season 0-10-1. And if you are a fan and you're media, a lot of guys are media, not journalists, they're media, because they don't, like, Jake Asman doesn't ask anybody questions. He doesn't go sit down in the bullpen and ask questions. He's media. He talks like how I talk. He just talks, right? We're not journalists. We're media. And I don't even consider myself media, even though people would tell me different. Middle Podcast is media. I don't consider myself media. I consider myself a fan who is a fan of sports, and I talk to my friends who are also fans of sports. And if one day we're bankrolled into media, then we're media. Fine. Whatever. And that's the semantics. But when you're not doing any actual reporting, it just comes off as bitching and moaning and complaining. So it starts with, oh, what are the Jets thinking? We got rid of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be here. And I don't think for a young team, you want somebody who's constantly critiquing, right? Aaron Rodgers is a mental case. He's just constantly, he's not who he was years ago or whatever. Or maybe he is. Maybe he is who he was. I don't know. I didn't follow Aaron Rodgers' career outside of throwing the football. I didn't follow his talking points. I followed him throwing the fucking football in Green Bay and seeing him as one of the best people to throw the fucking football. And I was hoping that last season or the year before, whatever, that he would come in here and throw the fucking football. Not come here and be a podcaster. Not come here and talk to Pat McAfee. I want him to come here and throw the football. And people were like, well, he can come and talk if he throws the football. Well, guess what? He came and talked, threw the football. We didn't win enough games. We didn't go to playoffs. He's gone. It's over. Right? It's done. And, the Jakes of the world run around, oh, the Jets are foolish, blah, blah, blah. And then, with Aaron Glenn hired, and you hear how Aaron Glenn handled it, and people were upset. And there's other people, too. I don't want to just call out Jake. I got the other guy's name. He's pretty much annoying, too. He's on TikTok. He's a part of Bare Minimum with me and all that, whatever. But another one is complaining about every fucking thing that the Jets were supposed to do. They got from up under Aaron Rodgers, which we expected. We bring in Justin Fields, like him, love him, or hate him. I don't care. Whatever you thought, this is a rebuild year. I don't care what Aaron Glenn says, not a rebuild here. My goal, my plan is here to win. Coaches say a lot of shit. No coach is going to come here and say, this is a rebuild. We're going to lose games, guys. No coach worth their salt is going to say that. So please get over yourselves with these stupid ass sound bites, because Aaron Glenn said we're going to try to win games. I'm here to win. Yes, he is here to win. Ultimately, the goal for him is to win games. Unfortunately, if Aaron Glenn came to you like your boss at your job and said, "Hey, this is going to be tough sledding from here on out. I need you to buckle up." There's no press conferences for your store manager or your corporate boss for him to come out and say some bullshit to a bunch of people and tell the truth. But when you go into your boss's office and he sits you down and he says, "Hey man, the economy's in the tank. Buckle up. Save your money. Don't spend money. Don't spend money unnecessarily on Christmas presents." Yeah, that's what your boss says to you behind closed doors. But if your boss had to do a press conference to the media, I'm pretty sure he's not going to say that. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't say that. So I don't care about media speak that Aaron Glenn said, "I'm here to win games." I expect him to say that. But what I would love to see from us as fans and people who are claiming media, shout out to TOJ, shout out to Joe Caparoso, shout out to Connor, the real Connor, the Connor we know the Connor we love, Connor Robin. People who just try to give you a real perspective on what the Jets are and what they could be, and not just keep shoveling shit down your throats and just fuel your anger and just fuel your frustrations. Not here for that, bro. The Jets lost 3 games. We were at the first one. That was a very entertaining loss. Do I wish we would have won? Absolutely. Absolutely. But we didn't look good. And from that game, especially making Aaron Rodgers, I think he threw 4 touchdowns, they made Aaron Rodgers look really good that game. They made him look really good. It was motion and everything. The team was not prepared for Aaron Rodgers to be on point like that. You tip your cap, GG's. It was a 60-yard field goal to win. You move forward. Now, you could be upset about Buffalo because it didn't seem like they had a game plan for Buffalo. Justin Fields didn't look the best during that Buffalo game. They said, "Hey, 8 in a box, we dare you to throw." And the few throws he started, I think maybe 1 or 2 he missed, and it was like, then he got a concussion after that. It was okay. And it just got smoked, right? But Buffalo, the team that every journalist and media, they're the best team. Josh Allen's the best quarterback, the MVP. Why do we feel like we're supposed to beat Buffalo? When every other media outlet glazes the cheeks, strokes the shaft, and juggles the balls of the Buffalo Bills, why do Jets fans feel like we had a chance in hell? We played them well. Who cares? Who gives a fuck how well we play the Bills, bro? We haven't been to the playoffs in 15 seasons, damn near. And you're getting excited and upset because we lost to the fucking Bills. The Bills are who they are. They're undefeated for a reason. They're a good team in spite of what we think of Josh Allen and his public neutering. And his lack of wide receivers. And the offensive MVP being James Cook. We are flabbergasted by the amount of attention this quarterback gets. Because he's been neutered for the past 2 seasons. He'll be neutered this season. But he's still a quarterback with a big arm and a huge body who doesn't get stacked. He's not making the same mistakes. He's known for a brain fart now and then and not being able to beat the Chiefs or winning meaningful playoff games. But still, they're better than us, right? Fields gets a concussion. Tyrod starts. They get a slow start against the Bucs, who are pretty much now injury depleted. Like, the Bucs are injury depleted, especially at wide receiver right now. Like, Mike Evans is out. Everybody's fucking out for the Bucs. I feel sorry for them going forward because that 3-0 is not going to last. And if it does go past, 4-0, whatever case may be, shout out to Baker Mayfield for silencing a lot of his critics. But that team is injury depleted. We have a bad first half. The pick 6 to end the second quarter was a backbreaker. We still managed to come back. Will McDonald has the epic block and returns of block. Not only blocked it, not only leaped the line, blocked it, sent it forward like a volleyball spike, picks it up mid-bounce and runs it in. And they wanted Aaron Glenn to be fucking stoic. They wanted him to stand there or golf clap. Why? Explain to me why that matters to the talking heads. Not, like I said, I'm not talking about journalists. I'm talking about the talking heads, the people who aren't in the bullpen who don't speak to coaches, players, or nothing. People who have an opinion like you and I, like an asshole, full of shit, are so mad that Aaron Glenn celebrated. Aaron Glenn once returned a field goal for, I believe the field goal is the longest field goal return, missed field goal return for a touchdown. I believe 101 yards, 103 yards. And he did his dance, signature dance. Aaron Glenn played special teams and cornerback. He was great here in New York when he played. You think no bit of nostalgia for a former player filled in? He just wanted to celebrate with his team? Are these the same people, same fans who were sitting here dick sucking Robert Saleh because he ran fucking stairs and he looked good in a tight shirt? And this is why I said I'm turning the laptop on today. This is why I said I'm firing the laptop on. Because I'm tired of you guys. You guys were trying to give, you guys were acting like cucks for Saleh when he first came here. You guys wanted to give your wife, your girlfriend. I remember, Pepperidge Farm remembers how you guys, grown men, were acting over another man with muscles and running the stairs. How you felt this team's going to run through a brick wall and he's a player's coach and all that stuff and blah, 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 blah. And y'all denied every report that came out against him. Y'all sat there and called Diana Rossini. Shout out to my babe. My babe. Love you, Diana. Mwah. Love you. Keep doing what you do, man. Fuck the haters. Love Diana. Y'all came out here mad at a motherfucker when she was spilling the tea and telling the truth about y'all team. That Robert Saleh was trying to take phones and trying to tell grown men what to do. When he was doing Camp Cuddly, oh, we're not going to let people know who gets cut. We don't want that on video. When he do all that posturing bullshit. Now, I don't hate Robert Saleh. I don't dislike Robert Saleh. But I always felt like he was rubbing people the wrong way with his energy. I always felt that way. And I was glad to be right about it because there was something about him I didn't like, some about the coaches I didn't like. But what really grinded my gears were you grown men, double-fisted, one hand all on yourself, all in your face. You're nasty. You're nasty. Get some help. Stop cucking. Stop telling other men you want these other grown men to have your wives and girlfriends and stuff like that. Y'all are nasty. Y'all disgusting. That's what turned me off from the whole situation. These same people are mad that Aaron Glenn wanted to dance. They're mad. When Saleh wanted to celebrate with Rodgers and Rodgers pushed him, y'all wanted to talk about that. Didn't forget, Pepperidge Farm remembers. I ain't forget that. Y'all was speculating very hard, very heavy about Saleh and Rodgers' relationship. Y'all was speculating very heavy. Y'all thought that Ulbrich was going to come in and do something. He didn't do shit. That team was a wash. And his team this year, keep it a buck, is a wash. It's the same roster. Worse even than before. We're not a top 10 defense. We haven't, and let's be clear. Just because the Jets were a passing defense mostly in the years before, their run defense hasn't been good in a long time, right? It hasn't been Rex Ryan levels good in a long time, right? Has not been. The Jets have not been a good rushing defense in a long time. And the reason why teams were just racking up running yards because they were scoring early and all they had to do was run the ball against us because they knew that we didn't have no offense. So a lot of the Jets offense looking, Jets offense being inept and the defense looking bad is all cumulative, right? It comes together and this looks bad. But the reality of it is we've never been a good run defense for a long time. And our passing defense is yet to be desired because it's pretty much outside of when DJ Reed was here, it's Sauce Gardner and a bunch of bums, right? Sauce Gardner's and a bunch of bums. We signed Stevens from Baltimore, not good, right? We just traded for the quarterback from Tampa, from Tennessee, for like a 6th and the 7th round. Hopefully that improves the secondary. But the reality of the situation is this is a rebuild. This season is a rebuild. Guys, this season is a rebuild. Please turn off the Jake Aspens of the world. Turn off the talking heads. Turn off every Jets-centric podcast. Turn them shits off. Turn them off. God damn it. Turn them off. And I'm going to tell you why I turn them off. Because you're not going to be happy following and watching people who are constantly complaining about a team, a franchise who don't know what they're doing. We're hoping that this season Moogie and everybody knows what they're doing and they get right. And I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn. I'm rooting for Moogs. I'm rooting for the team to get right. But I also have tempered my expectations because I know that the Jets are not going to be in the playoffs this season. I know the Jets probably won't win more than 5 games this season. And if I'm wrong and they do, that's a great surprise. But what I'm hoping is we start getting rid of all of the Joe Douglas castoffs, all of the people who don't belong in the roster. We've already committed to 2 of his good signings, right? Which was draft picks, I'm sorry. Garrett Wilson and Sauce, right? And Sauce can be traded. Don't get me wrong. He has the most upside. And if you want to be like the Lions, you may have to trade one of these guys and get an additional first-round pick. And he's probably your best asset next to Garrett Wilson. But one of those guys may have to be traded. Or maybe even Quentin Williams may have to be traded. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but somebody may have to go in order for you to get some more assets to get better. Because there's no free agent quarterback next year that you want on this team to quarterback if Justin Fields can't cut the mustard. And for all we know, Justin Fields can't cut the mustard, right? This is what we know, right? We're hoping he can, but for what we know, he can't cut the mustard, right? So you're hoping that this season you don't play too well like years before and winning unnecessary games. Jude, winning is aphrodisiac. Winning 7 games doesn't mean shit in a lost season. You're hoping that at least you can be like the Lions, go 3-13-1 or whatever the case may be, and get a high draft pick, trade some assets, get some more draft picks, and build your roster, because in 2027 you'll have more cap space. 2027 they'll have good cap space next season, but they'll have even more in 2027. And with guys who are already securely on the team, your cornerstone guys who are already on the team, you're hoping that you can improve in the years to come. But this season was always going to be a wash. This is the same damn team, the same defense, the same offensive pieces, outside of your new bookend tackles with Fashanu and Membu. You know what I mean? Outside of those guys, this is the same goddamn team. What did we expect different from this team? And if you're building like the Lions, then you have to look for the good. And the good is we lost 2 out of 3 games on field goals. Last second field goals. We lost 2 out of 3. That's competitive. We have 2 competitive losses and 1 blowout loss from the division champions and the former or reigning whatever MVP of the league, right? Be fine with that. Now, we're going to play the Dolphins next. If we lose to the Dolphins, whatever case may be, and it's a bad loss, a blowout loss, whatever case may be, feel the way you feel. Feel the way you fucking feel. But this is a rebuild whether you like it or not. This is not a win now season. This is an assessment. This is for Aaron Glenn and the GM to assess what they have and make it work. That is it, period. Turn off the Jake Asmans, turn off the Flight Deck, whoever, all these podcasts of screaming heads complaining about every fucking thing, and they want to be mad at the coach and moral victim want to argue with the fans. Turn them some bitches off. Turn them off. Turn them the fuck off. It doesn't make any sense to listen to the same people complain. They'll never be happy. They'll never be happy. They either wanted Vrabel to be here for some reason. Vrabel did not want to be here. They wanted to bring back Aaron Rodgers on 41-42. They think they can do something. They want Devontae Adams. They want every GM to trade for every player, even though we don't have assets. They don't know what it takes to run a fucking team. 9 out of 10, they don't know what they're talking about. And I'm pretty sure this is about selling merchandise and aggregating views. And when I say this, I'm not saying this as someone who feels they're better. I'm just saying that I don't care about that shit. I'm a fan. I don't care. I'm not trying to sell you an Aaron Glenn t-shirt and then tell you Aaron Glenn ain't shit. I'm not doing that, guys. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to complain and woe is me about the Jets every 5 seconds. I'm not doing that, though. The reason why we changed the format and we stopped talking Jets shit so much is because it's a miserable place to be. And misery loves fucking company, and we don't want to be miserable. That's what me and Kev said. No, we're not talking about Jets all this, and no, we're not a Jets podcast. No, we're no longer a Jets podcast. We're two people that happen to be Jets fans, and actually one, because Kevin doesn't consider himself to be a Jets fan anymore. So there's actually one person who considers himself a Jets fan, and I'd rather talk about everything else. And we to the point where we don't even talk about baseball. And we said, hey, we looking for people, and they did 47 pod. And we got 47 pod going, and they talk baseball, right? So what's pretty much left for us is the rest of the league and basketball. And sometimes some sports in between, obscure sports, whatever situation, entertainment, R&B, all that stuff. That's what we have been doing, right? And there's a reason why when people ask, where have you been? We've been trying to figure this shit out. Because what we don't want to do and what we don't want to be is two guys constantly bitching and moaning, complaining about the Jets. We don't want to sit here and talk about the Jets. Or if we do talk about them, we're not going to talk about them like everybody else talks about them. We're not going to talk about it in that way, in that regard. It's not productive. It doesn't mean anything for us. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't change anything. You know what I mean? We'll talk about fantasy football. We'll talk about the NBA offseason. We'll talk about what Pablo Torre uncovered with Kawhi Leonard. Stuff like that. We'll talk about everything else. But we're not going to sit here and beat a fucking dead horse about how bad the Jets are or how this, that, and the third, blah, blah. We do enough of that in the Discord. Join the Patreon. If you want to be part of the Discord, join the Patreon. Donate via Venmo at MIPod69. If you want to help us get that premier StreamYard look, because StreamYard, as much as they got going on, your price point sucks. But if you want us to have that dope presentation and you love what we do, slide us a couple of ducats. $5 here, $2 here, whatever. But the Patreon is the best place to be if you want to make sure that Middle School Podcast stays what it is and becomes better and brighter. If you join the Discord, you get the exclusives, find out what I've been doing behind the scenes outside of just this. We try to be decent people in the community to each other. So I'll be forewarned. Be forewarned. If you're watching me right now and you feel like I'm not your cup of tea, then I'm definitely not going to be your cup of tea in the Discord. If you follow Kev, and you think, oh man, these guys are cool, but we're not for you. We're not for everybody. We're not for everybody. Let me add that to the bed. Let me add that right now. We are not for everybody. Okay? We are not for everybody. We are not for everybody. So if you join our Patreon and you're part of our Discord, understand that we are not for everybody. We don't rock with everybody. We're not cool with everybody. I don't care if you're a Jets fan, your granddaddy's a Jets fan, your grandfather, your mother, all that stuff. I don't care about none of that shit. If you're a horrible person, you can GTFO. Get the fuck out. We do not care for everybody. We're not cool with everybody. I am drawing that proverbial line in the sand. If you want to be a part, be cool, be down with us, you gotta go through Nicole first. But we are not for everybody. Just to let y'all know. And the reason why I like to do this stuff by myself, so I don't have to have Kev say something that he doesn't want to say or back me up. I'm saying it as the sole proprietor, face, the person behind the scenes who does a lot of the work. I'm saying that we're not for everybody. We don't fuck with everybody. A lot of y'all are cowards and pussies. Come out to the events. Y'all don't show up. Y'all talk shit, throw rocks, hide your head, all that good shit. We are not for everybody. We are a podcast. We are a family. We are a group. That's right. Not for everybody. NFE. Team not for everybody. Thank you, JJ. We're not for everybody. And that's cool. And that's the reason why we do stuff how we do it. Because a lot of times we start being cool with people and they start saying some nasty stuff. We got to distance ourselves. A lot of times we're cool with people and they say a lot of stuff we don't agree with. We have to distance ourselves. So now it's down to the point where I don't even want certain. Listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck since we're here. I don't want certain players on the pod to talk to. I don't want certain podcasts on the pod to talk to. I don't want certain fans on the pod to talk to. And I don't want y'all in Discord neither. That's a fact. I don't want to talk to a lot of y'all. Period. A lot of y'all show me and show my people who you really are. I don't want to talk to a lot of y'all, period. But I know, because I've seen it, there's a great section of fans who feel the exact same way. Come over to Death Row. Come on to Death Row. Come on to a tailgate pop-out. We are for you. We are here for you. And we need to find more people like you to come rock with us over here at the Eccentric Podcast Network, Militia Podcast. Come fuck with us. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Join the Patreon. Donate via Venmo at MIPod69 who will support us. I am going to do this more often. I am re-energized. I'm focused. I am ready to come back to you guys 100%. Peace. Stay inspired by 69. We'll see you soon.